Ja, hallo zusammen und seid gegrüßt zu einer kleinen Bonusfolge von The Legend of Heroes Traits of Cold Steel Teil 1. Wir sind in der letzten regulären Let's Play-Folge hier in der Library, in der Bibliothek der Thors Academy angekommen. Und ich hatte euch ja gesagt, dass wir in einer separaten Folge bzw. in einem separaten Video uns hier nach und nach die ganzen Bücher durchlesen werden, die hier haufenweise vertreten sind und die in einem regulären Let's Play ziemlich viel Zeit wegfressen würden. Deswegen machen wir das für diejenigen, die das interessiert, über ein gesondertes Video. Und wir starten jetzt einfach mal im Uhrzeigersinn hier mit dem Überthema Current Events Politics und wir starten mit den Four Great Houses. The Four Great Houses is a collective term for the storied families who rule the four Erebonian provinces. Each controls a private provincial army and commands respect second to only the Arnor family. All four run their nearly country-sized provinces in accordance with the Empire's class system, but a push for modernization is increasing tensions between the four great houses and the reformist faction. 100 Days War. The 100 Days War was a war of aggression waged by the Empire against the Liber Kingdom in 1192. The name is drawn from the 100 days between the start of the war and its church-mediated end. Initially, Liber appeared to be at a significant disadvantage, with the Empire occupying a majority of their territory, but a single operation using the then new patrol airships turned the tide of battle. The reasoning for the war is not public knowledge, but the Erebonian Empire has since formally apologized to Liber, calling the war a mistake born from an unfortunate misunderstanding. Der Non-Aggression Pact. The Non-Aggression Pact was an international treaty proposed by Queen Alicia II and signed in 1202 by the Liber Kingdom, Erebonian Empire and Calvert Republic in Liber's Royal Villa, auch ein Ort, den wir in Trails in the Sky bereits besucht haben. While not legally binding, the pact has had a powerful effect, bringing an end to large-scale Erebonian and Calvadian military exercises near Crossbell and decreasing tensions between each nation. So, Phantom Thief B kennt man auch aus Trails in the Sky. B is an elusive thief who has stolen everything from jewels to orbital tanks from people and organizations across Zemuria. His strange, almost beautiful methods have given rise to a small, dedicated fanbase. Though he sends messages to his intended targets and makes public appearances clad in a white cape and mask, B's identity remains a mystery. He calls his recent unusual thefts the liberation of beauty. Ich glaube, ich muss das gar nicht mehr erwähnen, dass es hier und da irgendwie auch Zusammenhänge mit Trails in the Sky gab, weil das wird für fast jedes Thema, was wir jetzt hier, glaube ich, zu lesen bekommen, der Umstand sein. The Great Collapse. The destruction of the ancient Zemurian civilization is estimated to have occurred 1200 years ago oder 1200 years ago. While the Great Collapse is commonly attributed to a natural disaster, this theory remains unconfirmed. This ancient civilization's end marked the beginning of the Dark Ages. The Septian Church. The Septian Church is the most widespread religion in Zemuria and is based on the worship of the sky goddess Aidios. Its high seat is in the holy city of Eteria. Although its influence has decreased somewhat since the Orber Revolution, it still has a significant presence in the continent's education and health systems. Septium. The word septium encompasses 7 types of precious stones mined across Zemuria. Viewed as symbols of mystery since ancient times, their value as a resource shot up practically overnight when the technology to refine sepith or septium fragments into quartz was developed. Artifact. Artifacts are essentially ancient augments. While both run in orbal energy, they are operated very differently. Because they were likely produced by the ancient Zemurian civilization, proper analysis is currently beyond our technological grasp. Artifacts are occasionally found within ruins across the continent, and many are capable of demonstrating power that exceeds the bounds of human comprehension. The Septian Church has as such defined artifacts as premature gifts from the goddess and claims responsibility for their collection and control. So. Ey, die Schriftart, diese grüne Schrift, ne, erinnert mich total an Fallout 3. Diese ganzen Textfenster hier. Culture 1, Rainford Company. The Rainford Company was initially a gunpowder-based weapons manufacturer based out of the Erebonian Empire and known for its cannons and heavy firearms. Since the Orber Revolution, however, it has expanded its operation to include railways and airships. This expansion has made it one of the continent's 2 largest companies, rivaled only by Calvert's Verne Company. Verne Company, bester Übergang. The Verne Company is a massive company headquartered in the Calvert Republic. Like its industrial rival, the Rainford Company, the Verne Company was a storied arms manufacturer that expanded into urban research and development after the revolution. Particularly worth noting are the company's innovative approaches to the development of orbital vehicles such as orbital cars and buses. ZCF. The Zeiss Central Factory, or ZCF, was founded as the Zeiss Engineering Factory in Liberal Kingdom's Zeiss City by Professor A. Russell, a disciple of the greater Professor Epstein. ZCF was the very first Orban manufacturer to successfully develop an airship. They recently completed work on the high-speed cruiser Arsay, a feather in the cap of the Royal Liberian Army. Als ich das erste Mal Arsay gelesen habe, ist mir das Herz in die Hose runtergerutscht. Aber das ging hier bei vielen Themen irgendwie so. Ich habe halt die ganze Trails in the Sky, den ganzen Background auch nicht mehr so im Detail im Hinterkopf, aber vieles wurde hier auch zurückgebracht. Und guck mal, wenn man gerade vom Teufel spricht, hier geht es auch direkt weiter mit den Bracer Guilds. Entschuldigung. The Bracer Guild is a non-governmental organization acting to keep the peace and protect civilians wherever its numerous and continent-spanning branches reach. Its members are known as Bracers. Its guiding principle, to put the safety of the civilians above all else, is both its greatest strength and a handicap, as it cannot involve itself in political matters unless civilians are directly threatened. Yiga Corpse. Incredibly skilled mercenary groups, which can be found all over the continent, are known as Yiga Corpse. Due to their combat proficiency and their willingness to take on morally grey contracts, they are often used as private armies. As such, several countries have passed laws against their hire and use. IBC. The International Bank of Crossbell is a large banking organization which manages the vast quantities of money flowing into Crossbell and supports the economies of nations across the continent. The IBC's interests extend beyond banking too. In addition to providing most of the funding for the Epstein Foundation's Orbital Network project, the bank manages theme parks and other similar diversions. Imperial Chronicle. The Imperial Chronicle is a news organization headquartered in Heimdall. It has built up a reputation as the Empire's most trustworthy news source over the course of its 120-year history. Last year, in an effort to diversify their news distribution, the company established Imperial Chronicle Radio to supplement their widely read newspaper. So, wir haben das erste Exemplar von der Imperial Chronicle noch nicht, aber sobald das kommt, wird es dazu wahrscheinlich auch nochmal ein extra Video geben. Orbital Revolution Technology Teil 1. The Orbital Revolution was a technological revolution that was brought about 50 years ago by the invention of orbments. The public was initially skeptical of this technological leap, but the invention of the orbital telephone by the Epstein Foundation and ZCF's orbital airships quickly proved orbments' practical value. Orbments have since become an essential part of our daily lives. Orbital technology powers everything from essentials like heating and lighting to transport vehicles to even modern weaponry. What's more, advancements in technology have decreased the size of orbital engines, leading to the development of more capable and affordable consumer-level automobiles by the Verne and Rainford companies. Orbment. Augment is a general term for devices that operate by drawing orbital energy from septium. This technology was invented by Professor C. Epstein. The internal structure of an augment allows it to interact with quartz, which in turn is manufactured from septium. This design allows for the manufacture of augments with nearly limitless potential. Between the flexibility and ability to recover their internal orbital energy over time, augments are significantly more efficient than combustion engines. Quartz. A quartz is a circuit with a crystalline structure made by refining and processing septium fragments known as sepith. While quartz are both an energy source and capable of producing a variety of phenomena, without the use of an augment, they are completely powerless. So. Wieder was gelernt. Oder auch nicht, wenn schon bekannt. Orbital arts. Orbital arts are a kind of magic which can be activated by inserting quartz into a battle augment, a combat-ready augment developed by the Epstein Foundation. These arts, as they are commonly known, are widely used by armies, police forces, and bracers across the continent for their ease of use. Sufficient training can give anyone access to their incredible power. Orbital Network Project. The Orbital Network Project is an effort by the Epstein Foundation to develop a network in which vast quantities of information can be exchanged between computers using a series of orbital cables. While initially a joint effort between the Epstein Foundation and Liberals ZCF, the IBC is currently bankrolling the project. As a result, the network is currently being tested in Crossbell City. Epstein Foundation. The Epstein Foundation is an organization dedicated to continuing the work of Professor C. Epstein. It researches and manufactures augments specializing in information processing and communication. The Epstein Foundation is also the sole manufacturer of battle augments, which allow their users access to arts. Their recent Orbital Network project also promises to be the future of orbital communication. So. Gut, dass wir den Namen Epstein heute gefühlt gar nicht hören. So, Erebonian Empire International. The Erebonian Empire is located on the western side of the continent of Zemuria and represented by the emblem of the Golden Stallion. The current emperor is Hugent Reise Anur III. Despite the Empire's strict class system and focus on tradition, it has begun to modernize due to the railway expansion efforts of Gilead Osborne, a veteran now known as the Blood and Iron Chancellor. Between its mechanized national armed forces, the Imperial Army, and private provincial armies at the command of the nobles ruling each province, Erebonia may be the most powerful nation in Zemuria. Calvert Republic. The Calvert Republic lies to the east of Crossbell State and was established after a democratic revolution roughly 100 years ago. Its current head of state is President Rocksmith. Calvert is a vast country and, thanks to their long-standing open immigration policies, very culturally diverse. Many immigrants from the east have made Calvert their home. Although it has been significantly less hostile towards Erebonia since the signing of the Non-Aggression Pact, the two nations have been at each other's throats many times over the years. Ja, das liegt leider irgendwie in der Natur der Menschen, sich trotzdem an die Gurgel gehen zu wollen. Crossbell sits on the western side of Zemuria between the Erebonian Empire and the Calvert Republic. While established as an autonomous state 70 years ago, its two neighbors still dispute its ownership. At its center lies Crossbell City, one of the continent's key centers of commerce. In addition to being a key station on the Transcontinental Railroad, the city is home to a major international airport. So. Sorry für die kurze Unterbrechung. So, International One. Und weiter geht's mit Teil 2. Le Mans State. Home to the Epstein Foundation and the birthplace of Professor C. Epstein himself, Le Mans is a state in the center of the Zemurian continent. It is also known for housing the headquarters of the Bracer Guild, which has branches all across Zemuria. Holy City of Arteria. A city-state housing the high seat of the Septian Church, Eteria, is located at the center of the continent and acts as a gathering place for believers and church officials alike. The church comprises a number of organizations, including the Congregation for Divine Worship, which handles liturgical matters, the Congregation for the Sacraments, which handles administering the sacraments of the goddess, and the Papal Guard, which is responsible for protecting the holy city of Eteria itself. Aha, gut, dass wir drüber gesprochen haben. Liberal Kingdom. The Liberal Kingdom is situated in the southwest part of the Zemurian continent. Rich in nature and history, the kingdom is ruled by the long-lived Queen Elisha II, a staunch advocate for peace. While a humble nation compared to those around it, its bountiful Septian reserves advanced technological capabilities, and Queen Alicia's skillful diplomacy allow it to stand on equal footing with any other. Last year, a large object of unknown origin appeared above Valeria Lake, disabling orbments nationwide. This crisis was resolved through the joint efforts of the Royal Army and the Bracer Guild. So, North Highlands. The North Highlands are located northeast of the Empire and surrounded by the Isengard Range. Despite its harsh natural environment, it is populated by a tribe of nomads with their own unique culture. Given their proximity to both the Empire and the Republic, the Highlands have been a hotly contested territory for many years. So. Hat uns das Gaius schon verraten, dass er von den North Highlands kommt? Wenn nicht, dann tut's mir leid, dass ich das jetzt vorwegnehme, und wenn ja, dann schließt sich dann hier der Kreis, weil wir zum ersten Mal ein bisschen mehr Detailinformationen zu seiner Heimat erhalten haben. So, dann sind wir durch. Das hat jetzt gar nicht so lange gedauert, wie ich vermutet hätte, aber ja, dann soll es das auch gewesen sein. Mehr wollte ich hier nicht. Wenn ihr Bock habt zu sehen, wie es weitergeht, dann schaltet einfach wieder ins reguläre Let's Play rein. Und damit verabschiede ich mich jetzt hier für diese Folge. Bedanke mich fürs Einschalten und sage mal, bis dann, bis eventuell zum nächsten Video. Ciao!